Oops. Look at that.
Am I in?
You're in.
Okay. I'm going to talk really fast because I don't know how long this is going to last. Okay, now can you hear me?
Probably.
Probably. So I'll start over. Is everybody hearing us and seeing us?
They'll probably see
It'll,
here in just
it's
a
a
minute,
second.
right?
Yeah, there's a slight delay. So hopefully you're all here. So
24 people on.
thank you.
They're all saying we can't hear you.
Okay, so hang in there for one more second. There's always a delay.
Keep talking.
Always a delay. So I'm going to say,
Assume you're on.
okay. Hi, everybody. Again. Okay, sound now. Hi, this is Karen. We are here. I'm here at Sew and Save. This is Patchwork Party Live, and thank you so much for joining us and hanging in there with us tonight and coming and seeing us tonight instead of last Monday. We had a great girls' weekend out to Galena, so I took a busload of ladies to Galena, and we had a lot of fun and went shopping and shop hopping and all kinds of other things. So that's why we couldn't join you last week. So thank you for hanging in there and coming in and joining us tonight. We had some technical internet issues, but hopefully we're on and we're going to stay on. That's the way it's going to be. So please don't forget to like us, share us, and comment so that your name goes in, and maybe at the end of the night, Facebook will pick your name to win a gift card. And I'll get a little sip of water. I'm getting over a cold. And don't forget that everything I show you tonight, PP20, gets you 20% off of your sale at the end of the night. So lots of things to show you, lots of things to tell you about tonight. And again, thank you for hanging in there and joining us. We're doing this from the classroom tonight instead of out in the front because we had So What Club this morning. So I had things set all up in the classroom for So What Club. So we're doing it here tonight. So we're a little discombobulated. My table's a little smaller, but it's all going to be fine. And we're supposed to move back? Moving back. Moving back. Okay. So you can see us a little bit better, and we'll have a good show. So let's look at a couple new fabrics. Get started right away.
There's 40 people.
Hey, 40 people. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like us, to share us, and to comment so that your name goes in to win a gift card at the end of the show tonight. And PP20 gets you 20% off your sale. So here we go. Lots of fun things. You know that each month we've been having a little charm pack quilt. And this month we've used, we're getting ready for Memorial Day and 4th of July, and we're using the, it's called Star Spangled, and it's from Moda. And this is called Simply Charms May Breeze. So it uses a charm pack, and we have a border and a cute binding in the little kit, which comes in the little Sew and Save project bag. So all of this comes in your little Sew and Save project bag. You do need a yard of backing to finish it off. But the front, the charm pack, the border, and the binding are all in the little project bag. So they're fun to collect and fun to do, quick and easy little projects to do on a summer afternoon. So you can work on it and be out in the garden in no time flat. So I'm going to kind of move things a little different tonight so that I end up with a little bit more room on my table when I'm done. So this is the rest of the Star Spangled fabric. So it's really fun because there are stars and stripes and plaids, but then there's also like just red, white, and blue florals like this. So it doesn't always read patriotic. It's just fun kind of red, white, and blue fabrics as well. So you can kind of make something patriotic without having all the stars and stripes. So really pretty little florals. It is very pretty. Yeah, the colors are really pretty. Here's just a light blue and a dark blue with no red in it. Oops, we're going to move this out of the way. There are really cute little checks. These checks make great bindings. The little itty bitty stars have been really popular. Yeah, so he's just going to go all the way straight through. All the stars are popular. The stripes have been a lot of fun. And these little flowers are cute too over here, like this little flower and this one over here. So just like little flowers in between all of them, all between the stars and the stripes. So really, really nice line from Moda called Star Spangled. And then this again is our little charm kit for May. It's 28 by 32, and then you need a yard of fabric for your back to add in. But don't forget you get your kit in the little project bag with our name on it. So that's a lot of fun. The quilt behind me is this month's, let me kind of tuck it around here, see if we can do it without falling. It still needs its little binding on, but this is the Stripology Quickie project for June, and it's called Skylar. So that's what we will be doing in our Stripology Quickies class on June 2nd. So it's the first Monday of every month. We do Stripology Quickies, so we do a Stripology project from the Stripology Quickie book, and everybody's been doing a great job. And then watch your Facebook on the first Monday because people bring in their show and tells, and they are so much fun. It's so much fun to see one quilt made in all different types of fabric. So everybody chooses different fabrics. Some of them use their stash. Some of them buy the kit. And it's always fun to see everybody's quilts because they all are really, really cool. This quilt over here, this is a big one. Oh, this is my version of the snowman quilt. We were doing the snowman quilt block of the month from Lori Holton. She had 2 snowman quilts this year. One was all pieced and it had a big snowman and it was in a wagon with a tree on the side. A lot of you have seen that. This is the other quilt that she had. The center is all applique, and then the border that went around is all pieced. So I appliqued all of these in the center. So I kind of call it the deconstructed snowman quilt because his body parts are everywhere. He's all over the quilt. So it was a lot of fun to make. So now I can't wait to get it to the quilter and get it back because it'll be ready for when it gets cold, like tonight. Because it's like feels like 30 degrees out. How did that happen? We were in Galena over last week and it was not literally like 80 degrees. It was beautiful. And now we need winter coats. It's just not right. What can I say? But it's Wisconsin. So it'll change. Tomorrow will be something different. So don't forget to like us and share us. PP20 gets you 20% off of everything that I'm showing you tonight. Over here, I'll kind of show you this fabric on this edge. This is fabric it's from what's called Megs and Me. We've had some of their fabrics before. We made like a little chicken quilt one time. and it had all applique chickens on it. And then we had one with the little girls on it. That was all Meg's and Me. And this is their newest line of fabric, and it is called Honeybee. So it's really, really pretty. So here's the big florals. So it has florals and little bees flying around it. It's very sweet. So there are going to be projects for this, let me tell you. In fact, if you love this fabric, next month our little charming quilt will be made from this line of fabric. So we have charm packs for this. So we will be doing our next charming quilt out of this. So I think people are going to be very excited. This is always a really popular fabric. This is really cute with just the little bees flying around it. Their fabric is just very sweet and very happy and just kind of different. So it's called Meg's and Me, and it's Honeybee. And this is in the Patchwork Party section of the website. And Joe can kind of go like from here and over and show you close up. There's little prints and little kind of beehive little prints, but in greens and blues.
Is that like a newsprint or something?
Yeah, I was trying to read it. So you come up close. Honeybee, introducing Kansas Honeybee. So it's all about bees. So in honeybees. It was. It's probably pretty difficult at this point in time to recreate that. I knew people were going to ask if that snowman. People were asking if the snowman project is a kit. It was like last Christmas. We have some of the fabrics, but we don't have them all. So we would have to substitute quite a bit, but we do have patterns available. So you could, if you want a pattern, just let me know. We'll get you the pattern. It's multiple pages. So it's a pretty big pattern. Oh, Jim is unloading a truck. Sack boy.
Hey, beautiful people.
Jim is working hard. He's got all kinds of nice, fun machines that just came in today. So he's getting those all stacked up and ready for us. So last month, I showed you, I think it was last month. Last month, I showed you this really fun little pack of paper piecing triangles. So it's called Scrappy Triangles. It makes a 6-inch triangle, and I showed you some of the triangles that I made. I'm about more than halfway through the pack. So here's some of the triangles that I have made, and I'll just show you some of these. Kind of just go through them. These are my scraps from my Lori Hope fabric. So these are all Lori Hope fabrics. So they all kind of blend together and are fun together. So these are some of the, each and every block in here is different. It makes a 6.5-inch unfinished block. So 6-inch when it's finished. There's 42, I want to say in here. No, there's 50 different triangle patterns in here. Scrappy triangles. So the week before last, I was at a quilt market, and lo and behold, I come across her booth. Her name is Leila, L-E-I-L-A, Leila. And so she had the Scrappy Triangle books out, but then she had, are you ready for this? She had little mini Scrappy Triangles there. And so all of these triangles make a 3.5 unfinished block. So 3-inch finished block, and they are all identical to the 6-inch. So I have a big 6-inch, and then I have a baby 3-inch. Look at how cute that is. Because I learned when I started doing these that I'm using scraps, but my scraps were making scraps. So I could use my scraps from the 6-inch to use those scraps to make this one.
Nice.
I know. Isn't that cute? So I've got a couple other ones. I did about 3 of them. Here's another one. So now I have to go back and make little 3-inchers of all those if I'm going to have a big one and a little one. And then here's another one with the little baby. They're just so cute. So we have 6-inch and 3-inch finished blocks. And what's fun is this is 6-inch, this is 3-inch. So you could put 2 or 4 of these together with small ones with the big ones and make something. So once you sew these together, 2 of these equals 1 of these, or actually 4 would equal 1 big square. So you can kind of mix and match them and do all kinds of fun different things. I don't have enough of them to like start putting them all together, but you could play and flip and twist. You could do pinwheels out of these, would be really super cute. All kinds of fun things. And you're using up your scraps. And they don't take any time at all to make. Like Joe was making steaks the other night, and in the time that he grilled the steaks, I made 3 of these. So it doesn't take long to make them. And it's kind of fun just to kind of, it's not a project that I sit down at and work all weekend to finish a project. It's just something that I putz with here and there. I pick it up and I make 2 or 3, and then I pick up my fabrics and I put it away, and then about a week later I pick up a few more and make a couple more. So here and there they all kind of get done. And so it was really fun to do. It was kind of the same thing when I made the snowman quilt, because there's a lot of work to that. So there are 22 of these blocks, and I did not sit one weekend and make 22 of those blocks. You make about 2 of those, and then you don't want to make any more. So I would make a couple of those blocks, and then I would go and I would make a couple of the applique blocks. And then the next week I'd do a couple more. And eventually it became a quilt. So you don't have to sit down and plow through something in a weekend or a week. You can just kind of work on it here and there, and pretty soon I'll have enough blocks to put together to make a little quilt. And the instructions in this little one, it tells you how many blocks you need to make what size quilt. So there's 50 of these blocks of the little 6-inch or the 3-inchers, and 50 of the 6-inchers. And then she has another one.
Oh boy.
I know. So in fall, the one that's going to come out in fall is going to be a star, and then the star points are going to be little paper pieced star points. So all of your star points will be different. So she's working on that, and it's going to be a big one and a small one of as well. So PP20 gets you 20% off of these little fun little guys this week. And then
What do you call those? Scrap babies.
scrap babies. Aw, I know, it's like kind of like mama and baby. I was trying to kind of name them. Scrap babies. I like that. So that's those. And then there's another one, and I'm going to kind of do a little demo on that one, because the next one is also paper piecing, but a little bit different. So let me move my toys out of the way. And this one is a woven star. Did you see the woven star, Kat? I know. I like the woven star. So I've got a couple of, I actually just have one of those made. So the one that I made, so if you look at her woven star, she used all different fabrics for each star point. And I thought I would like it better if like they actually looked like they weaved into one another. So I used 4 different fabrics, and then it would weave across one another. So it looked more woven, I thought, than this. This looks woven too, so you could do it either way. Yeah, I kind of like this way. So what's nice about this one is she tells you what size you need to cut all your pieces, and she says it's charm square friendly. So if you have 5-inch squares, you could use 5-inch squares. So for the, and I'm going to kind of set it down, so you might need to look down as we go along. So these pieces are also like jelly roll friendly, because these are 2 1/4-inch strips. So this little piece is 2 1/4 by 3 inches. This one is 2 1/4 by 4 inches. So I just kind of took and cut a 2 1/4-inch strip out of my scraps. You know, at least 7 inches long, so it would cover both of those. And some of my scraps were smaller, so I cut 2. Some of them are wider, and I'll show you that as well. So I didn't cut them all exact, but they need to be at least that. Don't make them smaller. So 2 1/4 by 3 and 2 1/4 by 4, and then you she tells you what sizes to cut these as well. So to do this one, it's a little bit different. Let me make sure I got my little. You're going to also need your 1/4 ruler. I like the big one. What do I need to do? Oh, push it back a little. Coming back. Scooting back. Good, good, good. Pretty soon. Okay. So you need your 1/4 ruler. Some of you have this one. It has a very narrow edge over here, and then it has 1/4 of an inch over here with a little groove. So both of those are really important when you're doing these little paper piecing projects. So I love this little narrow edge, and I've used it. I lay it down, and then I use my cutter, and I can run across it with my cutter if I'm going to cut something, because it's a really narrow, smooth, sharp edge. Well, I have ruined 2 of these because you end up cutting through. You end up cutting into this really, this edge because it's so narrow and so thin. And so I was kind of looking at this, and the first thing it says on the back of the instructions is, do not use a rotary cutter on the tapered edge. Someday I will learn to read the instructions. Big letters, big capital letters. I was like, oh, well, I've already ruined 2 of these. Okay, this one I will not ruin. So do not use your cutter along this edge. You will cut into it, and then you won't have that nice sharp edge for folding your papers back, which is really important when you're going along and doing this project. So don't do that. But it works really good until it doesn't, until you cut into it. The longer one, because I can use it on all of these. So I can use it on the big one. It's big enough for the large papers, and it's large, and it's big enough to use on here, and I've got plenty to hold on to. There are smaller ones. There's a 6-inch one, but then the 6-inch one wouldn't be big enough for this, really. So I like a really nice long ruler, because that way I have more to hold on to as well. If it's shorter, then I have less to hold on to, less to help me control and keep my ruler from slipping. They both work. You can use the shorter one. Sometimes the shorter one will be too short, and you'll wish you had the longer one. The longer one just works on everything. So on this one, all of these, you just tear your page off, and you start doing your paper piecing. This one's a little bit different. You need to take your paper out, and then you're going to cut, and I'm going to use the other side of the ruler. You can use the thick side of the ruler to cut, and you're going to begin by cutting right on these dotted lines here, and then you're going to cut these triangles apart, because you're going to kind of make four of these makes one block. But you can't do it all together. You have to do each one separate, and then you will sew them together when you're done. So right along there like that. So you begin by cutting these apart. Then you're going to take, and I had these big triangles, which are working really good for this project. I had all of these big triangles cut. I thought they were going to be the triangles for my 6-inch pieces, but then when I started doing them and putting them on there, I didn't like them. Even though this is a Lori Holt fabric, I just didn't like it. So I had a whole bunch of these cut, but somehow I like it okay with these little ones. It's fine. I like them with the little ones, but I didn't like them with the big ones. So now I'm using them up on these, on my woven star ones. So I start out, and I take, and you can use a little bit of glue if you want to. Get out your glue pen. If you want to, you're going to start out, and you're going to flip this paper over. And I can see, I don't know if you can see, but I can see here, I can see the numbers coming through. If you can't see those numbers coming through, you can always put this on a light box, and that will help you see.
Do you starch the fabric before cutting?
I always starch my fabric. The first thing I do when, and I kind of was thinking about this because we were always talking about prepping your fabric before you do something. And some people are saying, I know I cut perfect and I know my 1/4 inch is good, but my fabric, it ends up, it's too small. And this one's smaller than that one. And I thought about it, and I'm wondering if the first thing you want to do before you cut out any fabric for any project, take it over to your, I was going to say to your sewing machine, to your ironing board, and spray it with best press. Both sides. You know, you're gonna press it because it's folded in half. You're gonna press both sides of your fabric with best press, and then you're going to press it. And that will make, if your fabric is going to shrink, that it will shrink right then. So because you're wetting your fabric and then you're applying heat. So you don't have to pre-wash your fabric. You can just, if you do that, your iron is hotter than any washing machine or dryer is going to be. So once that fabric is damp and you press it, it will shrink. If you don't do that and you cut your blocks out and you sew them together, and you know, you get like half of this block sewed, and then you spray it with best press, and then you press it to get nice flat seams. Now this fabric could shrink. And so that's why I think a lot of times people are like, I know I cut this out perfectly. I know my 1/4 inch seam is right. I know I did everything right, and now it's too small. If you didn't best press it and press it first, and then you come along later and put on best press and heat, then it will shrink, and then it probably will not fit with the rest.
So you pre-shrink it.
So you are actually pre-shrinking it at the beginning. If you don't pre-shrink it, it could shrink later after you've sewn your block together, and now it might not fit. Yes, we could add that in if you want to find that and pop it on. We didn't put it on because we've shown it before, but we will show it again, and we will give you 20% off of that tonight. We have a bunch of them in stock. So just food for thought as you're sewing and going along. So yes, I best press and press my fabric before I even started. So we have our little triangle, and what we want to do is we want to put enough fabric to cover up number 1. And you're going to lay your little piece down upside down. And a lot of times what they say to do is put a little glue here and have your fabric stick to your paper. On these little ones, I kind of don't do that. On bigger ones, I do. But this one's pretty small. And you're going to lay your first fabric, which is your background fabric, right side up. Okay. Then the next fabric that you're going to lay down, and I don't have another piece of fabric, but the next fabric that you would lay down will be laid right side down, so that you end up with right sides together, and your next piece is going to cover number 2. Once you press it, stitch it, flip, and press. Okay, so what I usually do is I kind of take, and I think I have to flip it this way. So here's my little example. I have my first fabric. There's my little triangle laying down, covering up. It covers up number 1. And then here's my number 2 fabric. And so that's laying down. What I do is I kind of flip it over, and I want to make sure that I have like a 1/4 inch. I'm going to stitch on this line, and we're going to end up stitching on this line. So we want this little triangle fabric to be about a 1/4 inch past this line. And I kind of feel it. If you've sewn for a while, you kind of know what a 1/4 inch feels like and what it looks like. So I can see that there's at least a 1/4 inch over that stitching line. And what I do, I just kind of lay it on there, and I'm sitting by my sewing machine. I kind of get them lined up, and then I just lay them down right by my needle, and then I just stitch right here. So I kind of just hang on to them. You can glue these two together like on the seam. So you're going to stitch from the dot down to where number 1, where it intersects with number 3. So you're sewing this seam right here. We have those little glue pencils. You could use a glue stick. You could use aqua glue, it's called. And we also have the little glue pencils that we've shown before. So you stick those two together, and if you need to, pins don't really work that well, so the glue really does work better. So once you do that, you've gotten your first little seam sewn. If you feel like you're like way off on your 1/4 inch here, what you're going to do is you're going to come along and you're going to lay your add a 1/4 ruler down right along that line that you just stitched. You'll fold it back and press it, push, and just finger press it back.
Do you want to do that again?
Sure.
So they can
And we're going to see it again. So I'm going to lay my add a 1/4 ruler with that fine edge that you're not going to cut along with your rotary cutter right along that stitching line, and fold your fabric back and kind of give it a little crease. And then I take it and I flip it and I use this little groove where the 1/4 inch is, and that lines up right with the edge of my paper. So it's like running right on the edge of that paper, and then I would trim right here. So this is really pretty good. I kind of eyeballed that, and it really works good. So I would trim it right there. Okay? And I know that this one is probably pretty good. Then you would come over here because you're going to do number 3 next. Lay your little ruler right along that line where you would stitch next. Fold it back. Oops, wait a minute. Stop. Either one. Both works. So at this point, before I do before I do the next one, I'm going to press this over. And I don't have a very good pressing mat. Somehow my wool pressing mat disappeared again. So I'm just going to use this. And you would give this a press. So you're going to press that nice and flat right there. Okay. Then if you feel like you need to, you're going to come over. And again, like I said, you're going to line this up right along. This is where you're going to stitch next. So I laid the narrow part of my ruler right there. Fold this back. Run my 1/4 inch groove right along the paper and trim that off even. Just like that. Okay? Now we're going to line up our next piece of fabric. So over here, I have my next piece of fabric lined up. I have that all trimmed. So I have my next piece of fabric lined up that's going to cover up number 3. Okay, and you can see that that this is wide. This was just the scrap that I had. So you can see it's bigger than 2 1/4 and it's longer than 4 inches. And that's okay. You just want to make sure that it's going to cover that up. So then I took it over to my sewing machine, and again, you can glue this if you want to, but I kind of just get it lined up, and I just kind of hang on to it, go up to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch from here all the way up to the dot right there. Okay? Then at that point, if you felt like you needed to trim it, you would flip it back and trim it. Now I'm going to press it. Isn't this easy? You can do this. And I would do all 4 of my triangles all at the same time. So I would stitch them all, and then I'd come over to the ironing board, and I would iron them all. Okay? Now you're almost done. You have 2 more pieces to put on. So I would go through, and I would do all 4 of my number 2s. Then I would come back, and I would do all 4 of my number 3s. You know, so I would fill up all of these little papers. And now you're going to trim these down. So I would wait. You could do number 2, stop and flip it back and trim it, and then come and do the number 3 and stop it. But they don't intersect, so I'm going to trim these 2 edges. So I just put the 2 on, I put the 3 on, then I come back and trim them both, because it's just faster. So then I'm going to lay my little ruler down, again, flip it, fold your number 4 paper back, slide your add a 1/4 ruler in there. It runs right with that groove, and trim the extra off. Now you're going to flip it and do the other side. Do exactly the same thing on the other side. We're going to trim off all that extra fabric. So now I know I have a 1/4 inch seam there from where I stitched to the edge of my fabric on both sides. Now, because they're kind of far apart and they're on either edge, I then come along and I add both number 4 and number 5 on at the same time. So I would stitch, so now I'm going to stitch on number 4. I would line up my number 4 piece of fabric, flip it over, stitch from the bottom all the way up to the top. And then I can kind of flip that out of the way and add number 5 at the same time. So I would add number 4 and 5 to all 4 of those pieces all at the same time. Stitch right along here. Then I'm going to come over and I'm going to press them. Ta-da! And it takes literally probably less time than it takes me to explain it. You will have this done. You'll have all 4 of these done. Kind of improvising my pressing mat. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay, so you're going to press both of those, and now you're ready to trim it up. Ta-da! It was that fast. So now you're going to take and you're going to, the solid line that goes around this whole piece, that's your cutting line. So now I'm going to come along and I'm going to line up my add a quarter ruler right along that solid line, and I'm going to trim here, and I'm going to trim here, and I don't trim across the outer edge. So these are, oops, and I'm just cutting crooked here. There we go. So I'm going to cut those, trim those 2. I leave this untrimmed until I sew them all together. You leave all of your papers on when you sew all of these together. Where'd it go? Here it is. The paper helps to stabilize this. It's not going to stretch and move when you're sewing these and getting these little guys to line up. You know what a big problem it is to get these to line up, but because it's paper pieced, nothing shifts, nothing moves, and it all lines up very nicely as you sew these together. So I don't take my paper off until it's all sewn together. And then once it's sewn together, then I came around with a 6.5-inch ruler and trimmed it off all the way around and trimmed off this extra up here. This just gave me a little bit extra to hold on to, and then just in case something twisted or moved or something, you can get a perfect 6.5-inch square when you're done. And these really lined up pretty darn perfect without much trouble at all. It looks great. All your points, and look at how all of your points are a perfect like 1/4 inch from the point to the edge of your fabric, because it was all paper pieced. And unless you can't sew on a line, you have to be able to sew on the line. If you can't sew on the line, then you might have a problem. But it's pretty darn perfect every single time. And then while I'm sitting watching TV at night, I'll start ripping these off. But it's going to be so cute. I can't wait. The instruction tells you, where'd my little guy go? It tells you how many squares you need to make. Oh, here it is. Different size quilts. So it takes you step by step on the first beginning, on the back of the cover, gives you step-by-step instructions for doing it. And then this page tells you all the different size quilts and how many blocks you need to make each size quilt. So there are 42 squares in each of these little packs. So it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it doesn't take you long to do these. And once you get going, it's really kind of addicting. It's really fun to do. I had a lot of fun with that. If you haven't tried it, some people go, oh, I don't like paper. But these small projects are a lot of fun. Sometimes we've tried some of those big QuiltWorks ones with the great big huge pieces. These are just fun, fast, and easy, and great way to bust up your scraps. It really is. I mean, you could even do these, use Christmas fabrics and make little mug rugs for Christmas or any time of the year. Put them together. They're just lots and lots of fun to do. So speaking of paper piecing, one of our other fun projects to do, we have a kit for this. It was called Blossom Oven Mitt. It's called the Blossom Oven Mitt, and this little centerpiece is paper pieced. So we have kits for these with everything that you make, and the pieces of fabric that are in there, you can probably make 2 of these little paper piece centers out of the fabric that we give you. You know, you need to go into your stash and get more for the backs and the bindings and things, but super fun, fast, easy project. You can do it. It's a nice size too. I like that it's this big. Some of those mitts are kind of small, so it's a good size. Inso Bright on the inside here, and we quilted it up with just a little grid on there. Yeah, it's a really nice thickness, really kind of cute. You can just hang it, and it's just really fun for the summer. Yeah, super cute. We have a bunch of kits for those. So, yeah, I thought we could take one to Aunt Marion over Memorial Day. We're going up there for going to his aunt and uncle's on Memorial Day, and it's just a nice little thing. She would love it. So, yeah, so super fun little project. Remember, PP20 gets you 20% off. If you like us, if you share us, if you comment, your name will go in and hopefully get picked for a gift card at the end of the night. Our local quilt guild, Lighthouse Quilt Guild, has a Lighthouse Legacies quilt show in October. If you go, and it's at Festival Hall, which is downtown Racine, October 4th and 5th, which is Saturday and Sunday. And if you go to lighthousequiltersguild.com, lighthousequiltersguild.com, you can get all the information, and you can even enter quilts into the for their quilt show. So they're always looking for some fabulous quilts, and I know you've got a lot of fabulous quilts to enter into the quilt show and buy tickets and all those other things and find out more information. Yeah. You can talk about your spaghetti dinner if you'd like to. Jim has a little announcement.
Get close to her so she can
Hi, honey.
to the
Hi.
microphone.
Oh, so you can talk into my chest.
Sorry, I probably.
Okay.
Wow. What are we
Wow.
talking about?
I don't know.
Oh.
Okay. Speak up.
Okay. All right. I need a date or 100 for Wednesday night for a
Is
spaghetti.
that this Wednesday night?
This Wednesday night down at the festival site, same place the
Quilt show is
going to be at, down at Festival Hall in Racine.
2 days.
2 days. Okay, that'll be the 21st Wednesday, and it's from 5 until 7:30. This is a fundraiser for the Sleep in Heavenly Peace project we're working on with Racine and Kenosha. So on June 28th, we're going to be doing a bed build with the Volunteer Center out at the fairgrounds in Union Grove. So we have gotten together everything thanks to all of you out there. We have 150 pillows and 150 sheet sets and 150 handmade pillowcases to go with these beds. Okay, so we need some money at the Volunteer Center to help to buy the wood for these beds. So we are asking you, we're having this fundraiser spaghetti dinner down at Festival Site on Wednesday night from 5 till 7:30. Okay, so it's from 5 until 7:30, and I hope somebody will show up and come eat with me. I'd love it because
Adult tickets are $15. Child tickets are $10 for 12 and under.
Yeah. So
bring your friends.
So bring your friends, bring the kids.
Sow and Save will be donating a little bit of money for each person that's connected to Sow and Save that comes to this
That
event.
shows up.
So it's a big deal, but we really need your help, and I hope you like spaghetti. If not, you can just come say hi. That would be great, and we'll share the spaghetti anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody loves
We're not
it.
selling
Everybody loves
tickets here.
Yeah.
We are not selling the tickets here. You need to buy your tickets down at the festival site.
Thank you for that. That's
Yeah,
so true. You have
that's
to buy
okay.
your tickets down there, okay? But I'll be down there, and a lot of the Sow and Save family will be down there. So
Yep.
we
Well,
hope
I'll
you
have
come with us
spaghetti
in.
on our shirts because I'm sure we'll be.
You can buy them at the door, right?
Yeah,
You
buy
have
them
to
at the door.
You have to buy them at the door. You can't
Yeah,
buy
buy
them
them.
here,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
You have to buy them at the door down there. So I hope you'll show up, and I look forward
It'll
to
be a
seeing
good time.
you. And thank you.
When is it?
Again, that's Wednesday,
One
May
more
21st. Wednesday, May 21st, 2 days from now, at the festival site, downtown Racine, from 5 to 7:30, and spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
We're having for dinner. Okay?
We like it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hope to see everybody there. Thank you.
All right, so that's that. You know that if you've been getting free yards of fabric every month, that this May is the last month for you to get free fabric. How do you get free fabric, you might ask? What you need to do is spend one time during the month of May $250, a one-time sale. Some people will buy a kit or fabric for maybe $100, and then they'll buy a gift card for $150. Or some people just come in and buy a $250 gift card. Whatever, it has to be one $250 sale on the fabric side of the store. Sorry, you can't get a sewing machine and get it. You have to use it on our side, the fabric side of the store. And once you do that, we put your name on a little punch card. We hang on to the punch card so you don't have to worry about losing it. You don't have to worry about managing it. We will have your punch card here. And once a month, you can come in and get 1 free yard of fabric. You have to come in during that month. If you miss June, you can't come in July and get 2 yards.
How come?
Because that's the way the rules work. You have to come in during the month. And there's very few times that I say no. So don't, well, you can. Text me, email me, call me. I have people doing that. And on the first of the month and say, I didn't get in, forgot to get my yard last month. Can I get another yard this month? And unfortunately, the answer will be no. So we're really strict about that. So you have to come in that month. If you're traveling, that's fine. Give us a call. Email us during the month and tell us what yard of fabric you would like, and we will set that yard of fabric aside for you. But you have to call during that month. So even people who are gone, traveling or doing whatever, you can still get your yard of fabric. Am I missing something?
No, you're kidding.
No. So
I have a question. If we want to donate money to the spaghetti thing,
Yes.
can we donate at the shop?
yes, you can donate money for the spaghetti dinner thing, for the, whatever that is, beds for kids or whatever that thing is. Yes, you can just bring it to the shop and donate money for that event. So any questions on the $250 one-time purchase during the month of May? If you've been doing it in the past, May is the last month to get your free yard. New yards will start in June. Okay, so it ends up in May. Any questions on that? Okay, so I hope you all come and get your free yards. Oh, if the fabric that you pick, it's up to a $12.99 value. So if your fabric per yard is $13.99, you owe us $1 plus tax. And so we will make that happen at the register. So don't worry about that. Any other questions that I can think of for that?
That I'm seeing.
Okay, cool. The other fun thing that we have, and I've sent out several emails about it, and is our fabulous fabric box mystery. We've done this in the past. We haven't really done one since COVID, actually. So if you haven't done this before, what you'd get is a box of fabric, and there's a little window in the box. We don't have any because we sold out of them this morning, so we're making more. But you get a little box, and the box has a little window on top, and you see one piece of fabric. If it's a Kansas trouble, the rest of the fabrics will be Kansas troubles to match. If it's a Kaffe facet, the rest will be Kaffe going through it. So if it's batik, it'll be batiks. So the project that we're doing uses 4 pieces of fabric and then background. So in your box will be 4 pieces of fabric, and then you will be responsible for picking up your background fabric to go with. In your box will also be a coupon for 20% off your background fabric. You need 2.5 yards of background fabric to go with. So this is going to start Thursday, June 19th. When you join, your name is going to go, you'll get an invite for our private Facebook page. So only the people who are doing the fabulous fabric box mystery will have access to that Facebook page. On that Facebook page, you'll see other people, and you can show them your box. This is what I'm going to make, and here's my blocks for this month. You can ask questions. And then on the day that we have our class, we will do a Facebook Live, and we will post that on that Facebook page. So if you're traveling and you still want to play with us, you can still play. On that day, it'll go on Facebook. So you'll have all the instructions on how to do your block, what block you're doing, how many you need to do. And you can also download the instructions from that Facebook page. If you don't do Facebook, you can, we will put it up onto YouTube, and you can access it through YouTube. Or you can come to the class. We'll have copies of the instructions here at the store for you to pick up. But if you're traveling and you want to access it, those files will be available on our on the Facebook page. So any questions? So you can do it in the store, traveling, a little of both, whatever works best for you. You let us know. And we can also pop a set of instructions in the mail if you can't access those online and do it that way. So we got you covered, however you want to do it. So $65.99 gets you into the club, and you can tell us what type of fabric you like. If you like the new Star Spangled, that would make a beautiful mystery quilt. So you could say, I would like 4 fabrics from the Star Spangled line, or I would like batiks, or I would like Lori Holt. You can tell us what you would like, and we will curate a box just for you. How about that? Any questions on how that's going to work? Excellent. I think I've said it enough that I get all that questions answered as I'm talking about it. Okay, we still have another line of fabric to show you. This was a showstopper this morning. This was one of the favorites this morning. This is a line, and we've had another line of fabric, and it starts from right there and comes all the way to the end. It's from Moda, and this one is called Wonderlust, and it is really fun. So you can, it kind of flows through different genres. So this is kind of geometrical and kind of modern and maybe a little funky. Down lower? Okay, sorry. Kind of funky, kind of watercolor-ish. Looks like somebody watercolored this. So there's kind of this kind of fun and funky thing. But then there's also these beautiful florals as well. And so they all look like they've been watercolored and just painted on there. And the quality of the fabric is really, really nice. The colors are amazing. And the favorite one, and I went online and I can probably get a couple more bolts of this one. This was the top seller. No, I have to unroll it. I have to unroll it. I just have to. Because what it does is it goes, can I hold it up like this and you can get it? So see what it's doing? It has the flowers on either end. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's an ombre because it's really not. It's not really a border stripe because it's really not. It's just fabulous. It's so pretty. And so what I said you can do is you can buy like a half a yard of this. And we've kind of done this before. Get a half a yard. Get a half a yard of something, put it on the back, and make up, and here's your table runner right here. It just makes a table runner all by itself. It's really cool. So it's and it's just so pretty. It's really cool. So we'll have more of these coming in, hopefully. They said they had a little bit more left, and I think I bought what they had left because it is really neat. And this just came in like over the weekend. We just got it into the system, so we haven't had time to make anything out of it, but we certainly will. This would be a fabulous mystery quilt, let me tell you. The other ones that are super fun, like the stripe is really cool. We make a really, really cool binding or inside blocks. The colors are amazing. And then that kind of goes over to this kind of tree one, which would be a really pretty back on something, but just kind of almost like up north, but not really, but little pine trees and things, really super pretty. So that's a really good one. And then there's just kind of a blender that kind of goes with it. Oops, sorry. There we go. I'm holding it wrong. I'm holding it like people are in the classroom. So just a really pretty blender that goes along with. So really fun. This is on the Patchwork Party section of the website. It's called Wonderlust. Yeah, so it starts here and comes all the way along now that I've kind of pulled out some of the fabrics, but they're just really cool. Look at this one, the navy blue one. It's really, really pretty. The little checks are cool, and then they have just like some leaves that are really fun as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, so a lot of fun things. Anything else that I need to show you? Anything else that I need to tell you about? Have I forgotten anything? I don't think so. Oh wait, I did forget something.
Yes, you did.
I did. We have these. These are little mini dusters. Isn't they cute? It's the cutest thing. It works great like in your car to dust off your dashboard and your screen. Works really great for that. And it comes in a little Ziploc bag. Yeah, I can show those too. I can talk about those. It also works really well. I have my sewing machine, like many of yours. You have one of Jim's beautiful tables, and your sewing machine is set down into that table with the clear plastic insert. And all of that dust, there's little dust bunnies that always collect around your sewing machine underneath that clear table. This, I just like swooped around it, cleaned it right up.
How big is the mystery quilt?
16.5 by 16.5. And I'm going to show you some different borders. So some people don't like square quilts, but it'll be really cool. We can do some really fun things with it to make it a longer quilt if you don't like a square quilt. So 16.5 by 16.5 for the mystery quilt. So this is a great little duster. It works great on your computer screens, TV screens, all of those good things. And I'm sure it's going to be a great cat toy. Awesome cat toy. So those are in the Patchwork Party section of your website.
What are they called?
Mini dusters, I believe they are.
Mini dusters.
Mini dusters. How cute are they? So cute. Love fun things. You know, it's not that I'm not into cleaning, but. And we've showed these before. It's been a while. The little omni racks for holding your rulers. I kind of got a bunch of these in, and I'm sure they're probably going to go up in price. I don't know. Yep, they're made in China. So, So before they triple in price, or whatever's going to happen next week, I did stock up on these because these are great. I do have both sizes. I use the big size over here to hold my rulers on my cutting table, and this is where I do most of my cutting and downsizing of blocks and squaring up of blocks. So I have like all my little different sizes. These are my favorite rulers that I use like I'm always grabbing. The little one I put over by my embroidery machine with some special rulers that I use that I use a lot for embroidery. We have our George's trimmers and things like that we use when we embroider. So I have the small one over by my embroidery machine. And it's also great to throw in your retreat bag too. So the little omni rack,
I guess you can run rulers.
you could go both directions. I like it in this direction just because I have all my small rulers in here, but you can see that the grooves go the other way, so you could put it and put long rulers in this and going this way as well. So you can use it going both directions. But you just to hold little things like pins, binder clips, stuff like that. And your little mini duster fits right in there.
Nice.
It's right there. So that's fun. Anything else? So don't forget to like us, to share us. PP20 gets you 20% off tonight. It's time. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Really happy to see you all. Hope to see you again at the store soon. Say bye, Jim.
Bye, girls.
Bye, Jim.
Bye. Bye, everybody. See you again soon. Thank you.
Bye, Kathy.
Bye, Kathy. All righty.